Yes, we're live, everyone, and welcome back to the PlayStation MVP Cast, episode 23, take 2. So we had a small mic issue last time, but that has been rectified, so you should be hearing everyone here tonight. But we're going to take a few minutes and hit some highlights for our show here tonight. We're going to be going over some of the features and improvements announced for firmware 2.0 for the PS4. Rise is possibly coming to the PS4 after its PC release. Assassin's Creed Rogue is hitting PC, and could that be a hint for the PS4 version as well? And we have a surprise subject near the end, and we'll just have to see how that goes. You guys may have a chuckle with that. I'm switching over to the game video now, so you guys should be seeing some video from Nidhogg and Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Shadow Warrior, and Towerfall Ascension. And we're going to jump right into what have you been doing. So, Gamer, what have you been doing?
I've been playing Persona 4 again with the PlayStation TV. Also been playing some Battlefield.
On PlayStation TV as well, okay.
Yeah.
What about you, JLC?
I've been playing Battlefield as well, and some Destiny.
And the One Rider, what about you?
I've been playing The Walking Dead Season 1 because I recently picked up Season 2. Just even though I already beat it once, I was just trying to reminiscent on what the game was beforehand.
Gotcha. My username is MichaelVash7886. Notice how I introduced us as we did What Have You Been Doing? That was pretty clever, I think. Actually, I just forgot to do it otherwise. So that works. But as for me, I worked basically all day, and then I came home. There was a dog lost in the middle of the road, so we had to go try to find its owner. And then came back in, I worked more, and then we're starting this. And then after this, I probably get to work a little bit more. But hey, over time, that's a good thing, I guess, in that case. But beyond that, just been trying to game as I can. I've been playing some PS4 stuff, Shadow Warrior. I did a stream for that a little bit, and obviously did the recordings for these games. And I'm doing Extra Life 2014 on Saturday, so that's going to be a very long day, but probably a fun one. I'm probably going to try to stream that on my hitbox.tv/MichaelVash7886 channel. So if you're interested in that at all, it might be worth a follow, and this channel, of course, as well. And let's see. Beyond that, not a whole lot for me. But we're going to go straight into the drop. And this is what has hit the PlayStation Network this week. Scapegoat 2, that's on PS4. F1 2014, that's on PS3. Fluster Cluck is on PS4. Just Dance 2015, PS4 and PS3. Legend of Korra is PS4 and PS3 as well. Need for Speed Rivals Complete Edition is on both platforms as well. Race the Sun is on everything. Samurai Warriors 4 is once again on everything. Shadow Warrior hits PS4. The Voice hits PS3. JLC has been waiting forever for that one. He's been playing it like crazy. I saw him. The Walking Dead Season 2 hits PS4. And apparently no demos or betas that I'm seeing.
And I picked up Shadow Warrior and The Walking Dead Season 2 this week, actually today, so can't wait to play those.
Yeah, if you haven't played Shadow Warrior, if you kind of know what's about it, it was a classic FPS game, and they've kind of turned it into a FPS slasher hybrid thing, and it's very very over the top when it comes to the violence, but it's pretty cool. It's really solid. It's definitely some corny jokes in there, but some of them can be pretty funny. So definitely worth checking out if you're into that type of game, and I think it's like $40. So you can get a bit of a bargain on that. Graphically, of course, it's not all that amazing, but it does have some pretty nice effects in the way everything works. But there is a Sale of the Dead with Sunset Overdrive font. Ryder, do you have that list?
Yes, I do. We have, let's see.
Dante's Inferno.
No, we have Dante's Inferno, both for PSP and PS3. The PC version is $389. The PS3 version is $599 for PS Plus users or members. Darkstalkers Resurrection for PS3 is for $524. Daylight for PS4 is $759. These are, of course, PS Plus prices I'm naming. Dead Nation, pretty much for every platform, PS3, PS4, PS Vita, except the PSP version. The PS3 version is for $319. The PS4 version will be $599, and the PS Vita version will be $319. They also include Dead Space 2 for PS3 and Demon's Souls for PS3. Dead Space 2 will be $389, and Demon's Souls for PS3 will be $979. For Fatal Frames, there will be the Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3. Each of them will be $489. These work off the PS3 version, even though they're PS2 classics. Plants vs Zombies for PlayStation Vita and PS3. They'll be $539 for the PS Vita version and $419 for the PS3 version. And for those who are holding out, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is on sale for both PS4 and PS3. PS4 version will be $1987, and the PS3 version will be $14.99. There is a game called RIPD, the game for PS3. That'll be $2.50. The Cursed Crusade for PS3 will be $5.
I think that was like a launch game too.
Yep.
No. I'm thinking of a different game, but yeah, it's quite old.
Okay. And then Tiny Brains will be for PS3 and PS4 will be both each $3.99, and Zombier for PS3 will be $4.87.
Yeah,
there is a second week, but I guess we can do that for next week if you want.
Yeah, we'll hold off on that one for next week. Though I will say one highlight is Guacamelee Super Turbo Charged Edition for PS4 next week. So there's a couple other games on there. Some might be interesting to some, but we'll see.
Yep.
But we'll go into our first big topic here in. So I did mention Extra Life, and I did want to mention, if you haven't, supported anybody's cause yet, I could still use support. Or if you're, I would encourage you actually to look for somebody that may be doing it locally, because you pick you're the hospital you're supporting, and so they're supporting Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So if you are interested in donating, I would suggest you either ask me for my link or find somebody local, one of the two. And then if there's still time to sign up if you have a good way to try to get some donations for your own hospital's cause. But that'll be a big day. I imagine there'll be a lot of people streaming that day, including myself, hopefully, if everything goes smoothly. And then that's going on Saturday, of course. And then there'll also probably be other days that some people do it. But we're gonna go straight into some information about firmware 2.0. What do you have for this, Ryder?
Let's see. The PlayStation blog has given more details on what firmware 2.0 will have upon release, including a USB music player, a friends you may know feature, enhancements to voice commands and live broadcasting, and the ability to change the background color and add the free monthly PS Plus titles to the library area instead of having to download it, and changes to the content and library of the home screen.
Yeah, and in addition to the background color, you can also get themes.
Yes. And with the improvements of sorting content and having 15 of the most recent games only on the home screen, with the rest dropping to the library area when it comes to the changes of the content in library areas, is this better than just having folders? And what do you guys think of the USB music player, which allows any music to be played in the background as long as the USB device is plugged in? So is the friends you may know feature ripping off Facebook by chance? Do you think it might be a good way to find friends who may have the same likes as yours? And what announced features excite you guys?
The friends you may know, I'm kind of indifferent on. It could be cool. It could point me to some people, but I feel like other games have tried that. Need for Speed has auto log, and it kind of recommends people you should be friends with because they're friends of your friends on the and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't really see that being a huge huge deal to me, and I kind of expect similar things from a lot of people, just because they're on writer's friend list. I don't necessarily want them on my friend list. I mean, he has that JLC guy on his friend list, I think. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, you gotta watch out. There's some pretty shady characters there.
Yep.
What do you guys think about that sorting content for like instead
I
of
think
using
that's-
folders?
That's the best part, to be honest, because right now it's a mess. Everything's
Yeah.
a mess right now. So anything to improve the current state of the of organization, that's pretty good. Better than what we have right now. As to every other feature, well, the list is not done yet, right? They keep saying that there's going to be more.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm kind of wondering how much more at this point, but I'm hoping there's some other things.
Yeah, because seriously, it's like we said, on take one, it's been a while. If they're going to be releasing little by little, then I really hope that this update doesn't take a long time to come out.
Yeah.
And like me and Canefire, we recently did info thread for Firmware 2.0, and we were told that
Surprise,
there's going to be
surprise.
and there's going to be more surprises that's going to be coming out that aren't mentioned yet. So we'll be adding more to that.
Yeah, the organization is nice. I think I would have preferred folders, but it's better than what we have, which
Yep.
is, it's not saying much because all we have right now is just a line. But
And if you got a lot of games, that line can be very long.
yes, it very much so is.
Desert only.
But and I kind of got into this in take one. Of course, my voice was not in take one, so it didn't really matter. But it still, when I keep looking at it, this seems to remind me more and more of Console Wars, the book. We keep mentioning this and bringing it up. It's been brought up numerous times in the podcast. If you haven't got a chance to check it out before, but it just reminds me, looking back, it's a look back at the early 90s, late 80s, Nintendo versus Sega, and then, Sony entering the playing field. And it kind of is looking at all that and what's going on and how that battle's being waged. And so it just reminds me some of the things I read in that book, rather. They're talking about Japanese companies and American companies and how they do things differently. Because, I don't know how much you guys know about Japanese companies, but they have business plans for 100 years, and I'm not joking about that. They literally do, and they're very structured in what they do generally, and they're very they can be very tight-lipped and very stubborn in some cases, while American companies seem to have a little bit more flexibility, and I kind of see that with the Xbox One and PS4 because I feel like, we're getting, with Xbox One, I'm getting an update every month for that, basically. They just announced the November update, and I've even got the, the preview version probably downloaded. I just haven't messed with it at all. I haven't had time, but, I think it's interesting that we see such a different approach from two companies that are, basically trying to do the same thing and get you to buy into their ecosystem and buy their system, buy their games.
Yep.
But the other interesting thing is, they're constantly asking for feedback. Like the entire preview system is there for feedback. They have surveys, they have quests, they have questions after you do the little quests. It's just encouraging you to use the new features so they can see what people think of them. While on PS4, I know a lot of people were kind of irritated when the notification got switched over to the left-hand side and it's covering all the mini-maps. So, you just wonder sometimes why they decide to do what they do and who's making these decisions and whether they're really looking at it from our perspective or whether it's a corporate perspective or what exactly they're doing. So, it does make it a bit complicated sometimes.
Yep. Like I said, what I really want to see from Sony is the actual release date of this update.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We've been hearing about this update for a long time now. To me, YouTube support is a big thing, and I would personally really like background uploads. I think Jim was on last time, and he mentioned the same thing. And when I was preparing the video for this podcast, I literally had to, my PS4 was just simply locked down. All I could do was simply let it do it in the background, or rather in the on the screen, and switch over to my TV and just watch TV while that worked. Because it took, I got a USB 3.0 flash drive, and I think it took like 30 minutes for each video, and that's, or maybe 25, something like that. It took a long time for less than a gigabyte, which is very unfortunate. So, Resident Evil TV series. Writer?
Well, was it, I guess...
Oh, I'm sorry. We skipped something, actually.
Yeah.
PlayStation Vita TV.
Yes. So, PlayStation Vita and PlayStation TV will be receiving a firmware 3.35 update to include live from PlayStation for both platforms and a 4-player remote play for PlayStation TV only. So, has anyone used live from PlayStation function section in particular? Is it good to have on other platforms that have nothing to do with Twitch? And wouldn't it be better to have you stream in Twitch kind of as separate apps anyway, like the Xbox One does? And does anyone have a PlayStation TV yet from this group that can utilize the 4-player remote play feature, or that's coming, or has?
I think Gamer has one, actually.
But
Gamer has a PlayStation TV?
I think he said he did.
Yep.
how is it?
Same as a Vita.
Same as the Vita? So
Just more bigger screen.
Yeah, I'll get
No,
into
you
my
don't
thoughts.
get the option.
I'll get into my thoughts in a few minutes on it. But the 4-player thing, that's cool. Just if I do have a 4-player game and I want to check it out. I'm curious if it's going to be specifically looking at PS Vita games rather, or if it's going to be looking at like PS4 for remote play. And I guess it was talking about remote play. So that would probably be 4 players on the PS4. So you couldn't do like ad hoc mode or anything like that with local players or something. That would be interesting if they could do the local multiplayer, with other people on the same screen. But unfortunately not. But yeah, the 4-player stuff is cool. I don't know that I'll necessarily be using it. I mainly got it to play video games on a bigger screen. So, I don't know.
The only disappointment I've heard of PlayStation Vita is that, PlayStation TV is that it doesn't play every PlayStation Vita game.
Yeah.
And that is a bit disappointing.
Yeah, and some of them I can understand. And I was reading over some of the list, and it's like these PSP games and some PS1 games, and I'm like, I don't know why it can't play the PS1 games, but I can understand some of the PSP games maybe because of just how different that system was, and then I can understand some of the really touch-intensive PS Vita games, but I still feel like Sony should really get with the developers and encourage them to really, update those games to work with it. Because, Lumines, I think that's one of them. And I'm pretty sure that came out console at some point or another. So and you've got the touchpad on the DS4 anyway.
Yeah, and there is like a small list on NeoGAF that's talking about what titles that was on their support list, and they took them off. And I'm pretty sure it's not because it's not compatible, because originally they were working, and if you happened to download it before, they took off their compatibility list, which in other words means you can't grab them off the store. I'm pretty sure it's because of licensing issues.
Yeah, very possible. And that's weird to me, honestly. I kind of get it. It gets a little complicated when it comes to licensing and legalese and all that. So I don't know. I'm guessing they just don't have the. They had the PS Vita license specifically, and nothing about PlayStation TV. Maybe is what that's going on. But
I'm pretty sure.
But the main update thing that we were talking about is that it got live from PlayStation.
Yes. And I don't know that I'd use that on the PlayStation TV, and I know I won't use it on the. I don't see myself using it on the Vita.
Yeah.
I use it sometimes on PS4 if I'm looking for, gameplay from a specific game or something like that. Like if
Yeah.
there's something new out that I want to see, and I can go on there and see, people playing it.
Well, like I said, in Take One, I think it's a good feature to add. Um, I was wondering why the Vita wasn't able to see live streams. When it's a
Yeah.
perfect mobile platform. You could watch live streams on the go, and now you're going to be able to do that, and that's pretty good. It's something else, that a new feature that's added to the Vita, and that could only help the Vita, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
only going to do it good. And regarding PlayStation TV, that's good too. Because not everybody that has PlayStation TV is going to have a PS4, but they're going to be able to see those live streams, and maybe they'd be incentivized to buy a PS4 so they can live stream their own content and all
Right.
that. So I think it's a good feature overall, and I think Ryder asked, wouldn't it make more sense if Twitch had its own app, like its own separate app? And I think it makes sense, because not everybody just wants to see PlayStation content, but live from PlayStation itself is not a bad idea. It'd be good for Twitch to have, and for Ustream to have their own apps, so you could watch other streams. So other people could get their fan base, a bigger fan base, from gamers that are mobile or PlayStation TV gamers, and that's not a bad idea. Even those apps should even come to PS4, because it doesn't exist on PS4 either. So it would be a good idea, but yeah, overall, it's just a new feature that's only going to help PlayStation TV. It's only going to help PlayStation Vita. So it's all good.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a bit more about Vita in a little bit, but we're going to move on to the Resident Evil TV series.
Yep, plans are being drawn up for a Resident Evil TV series. It's set to launch following the final film in the franchise's long-running movie saga. It will be made by the same studio as the movie's German production house, Constantine Film. Since this is being made by the same studio that did the movies, is this any hope that the TV series will be any good? Did anyone like the films? And if anyone has actually watched the Resident Evil Degeneration movie, should they do the TV series?
I like the movies. I think a lot of people are gonna say that. I don't know if it's TV series how it work out. Maybe you could make something like Walking Dead or something, but it's really gonna depend on the quality, of the show, and what type of story they're trying to give for Resident Evil. It depends. It depends what the pilot. If the pilot is good, then I'll probably watch it. Otherwise, I don't know.
The pilot's the guy who made the same movies, so that's a long shot.
It's a long shot. Yeah, that's the thing. I enjoyed the movies. How you could make that into a TV show. Make the scenes longer, or but I doubt that they're aiming for that. It's got to be something different, because if they do the same
Made
thing,
up character.
I don't think. Yeah, new characters and all that.
It's kind of like saying the Terminator movies. They had their own. There was like a TV series that was really good. So who knows?
Yeah, they got canceled because they had no viewers, which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of TV shows that have been very good, but they haven't gotten that audience, and they've been canceled because of it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, and then they may do something like Stargate. I don't know if guys are familiar with that, but they had a movie, and then from that movie they spanned Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe. SG-1 and Atlantis were obviously a bit more successful, though some people still swear by Universe. But, they didn't even use the same actors from the movie, despite them being the same characters. So, I think I want to say there was like 4 or 5 years between the movie and the actual show. So, it can be done. It's just a matter of getting it in the right audience and actually having enthralling shows, good content.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just saying it depends how they do it and what audience they're aiming for too.
Yeah, well,
True.
I mean, any reference I can get to Stargate is a good day to me.
Oh yeah, Stargate was good. I enjoyed the show. It was a pretty good show. Good movie.
Yeah, whenever I meet somebody from the Air Force, I always ask him how many times they went through the Stargate.
Like what? What are you talking about? That's top secret.
Yeah, if they get it. So Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yes, Resident Evil Revelations 2 was recently tried to be explained by Capcom, who states that the pricing per episode, which is currently $6 each, is cheaper for those who want the bare minimum of enjoying the game, while the whole digital, which is priced $24.99, and retail, which is a whopping $39.99 packages, are for those who want additional bonus content. So, does anyone here buy that explanation?
Wow, that was bad.
Is additional bonus DLC content worth paying a premium for? And they kind of aren't even saying what the bonus content is, so kind of makes you wonder.
Well,
Screenshots in a theme.
yeah, and that's possible. Or it's the fact that you can launch them all from within a game rather than having to launch them individually from the menu. I don't know. Like, I really think the whole thing about the season power, the whole thing digitally being like $1 more than it would be buying the individual episodes is kind of dumb. I can sort of understand the premium being on the retail package, though I think $15 is a little steep. I would think more like $29.99. I think that's what Walking Dead generally does, and I think they're generally $25 for the season or whatever. So I don't know. I think it's a very strange way to do things, and it is very odd that they're like, oh, well, there's going to be bonus content, yeah.
Yeah. I don't buy the price, to be honest, just for bonus content if they haven't explained what it is, So I don't know. I won't be buying it for that price, to be honest.
Maybe there's a translation error and they said bonus continent. Maybe that's what they said.
Bonus content.
I don't know what the continent is in this case, but maybe that's what it is.
It's going to be themes.
Themes, right?
Well, yeah,
Characters.
let's rise past that and talk about Rise. RYSC.
All right, Chivette Early, I know I'm probably saying it wrong, in an interview was asked if Rise could come to PS4, and the developer said that they would be open to doing so after the PC release, that is. Now begs the question, would PlayStation owners buy the game despite bagging on it since its release? And would we buy it if it were to drop on the PS4 ourselves as a group? The 1080p definitive version, of course. And is it worth grabbing, Mike, since you're the one with the Xbox One?
Honestly, I'm not sure you would even be 1080p version or anything like that. Just because of the way everything's set up. I don't know, but I would wonder how. I'm trying to figure out. I'm wanting to say it's Microsoft published. So, I mean, people were asking for Dead Rising 3, and they're like, no, Microsoft published this, so it's not coming out to other platforms. So, that's where I'm a little confused on that aspect, because I could be wrong. It could just no. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking wrong. It was Crytek published, because I remember the press releases now. But yeah, so that's fine. But is it worth it? It really depends on what you're looking for. It is a very stunning piece visually. It looks great. And I think that's kind of what most people say about Crytek games, but the gameplay can be a bit repetitive. I can definitely see, I think Joystick compared it to about as fun as making phone calls, and I can sort of see where they got that, because the kill animations that you were seeing in the E3 demo that everybody didn't like because they looked so they had the button prompts and all that quick time events. Those are very much encouraged. They really make for some brutal moments, but they give you extra XP and health and all this other stuff. So, I mean, you can kill people without them, but it actually kind of is a detriment if you don't kill them with them. So it's kind of an annoyance, honestly, that it seems like every enemy you really want to do that to play the game properly. I think that would have been better meted out a little bit instead of a lot. Maybe the last guy in a group or something like that. But I mean, it's all right if you're into Rome and whatnot. Some people are really into that time period. I probably wouldn't get it for the full price. I picked it up for $20. But I mean, we know JLC probably wouldn't get it because he doesn't play Xbox games, right?
No, but I don't know. To be honest, it looks interesting, but I've read the reviews. I don't feel
Yeah, very mixed reviews,
buying.
And I can definitely see why. Because it is like I say, it's very very strange. Some of the choices they decided on that. For basically every enemy could create a quick time event, and that's really strange. And so Assassins...
I might pick it up because... Well, I was saying I might pick it up because I'm a fan of Crytek's games, so I might just get it just because of that.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a fan of their games or you're a fan of like Rome and that type of stuff, then it would definitely be worth looking at. The combat system overall isn't like bad or anything. I just think the forced quick time events are kind of detrimental overall. Like, I think if they would have done those a little bit better, I think we'd be much better off with that game.
Is it going to come out at $60?
Probably.
$60 1080p version.
We'll see on 1080p, man. Lately, it's been very 900p for a lot of stuff. But who knows?
I'll probably buy it just to support Crytek as well. I like their games.
I guess that gamer would be a no-go.
You don't game on those. He just laughs at it. He's like, ha ha ha, that game's so below me.
Yep.
He already pre-ordered it.
He's not hyped, people.
Twice.
He's not hyped. Yeah, that's he pre-ordered it twice when he thought it was coming to PS4, and then he's like, oh gosh, this is an Xbox game. Cancel. But Assassin's Creed Rogue. Have you gone Rogue, Ryder?
Oh no, but this game might be
going Rogue from current gen or last gen.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, not PlayStation related for now. Assassin's Creed Rogue is coming to PC early 2015. With this surprising news, that means PC gets both Unity, which is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. But PC owners will also be getting Rogue as well, which is currently coming out for PS3 and 360 sometime later this November. But in August, Ubisoft said it's kind of too early to announce Rogue right now for PS4, which makes you wonder. With this announcement of an Assassin's Creed Rogue coming to PC, is this a glimpse that a PS4 version is around the bend? A definitive version, as you could say? Is this GTA 5 all over again to maximize profits from past gen owners and then go after next gen owners later?
I think GTA 5 was actually in a different position just to, due to its release date. I mean, this is a whole year later, so, and it was specifically created for last gen. Like, I feel like that's kind of a little bit different situation, and I just think it's Ubisoft being Ubisoft and wanting to release on every platform possible. I mean, they'd throw the game on iPad if they could. And they probably will in some form, but
I think they have already.
They do have the only thing I know of is the mobile app or whatever for Assassin's Creed 4. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would expect it to come to PS4 if it's hitting PC, but at the same time, like I don't know that there's anything there that really interests me. I find Unity to be a lot more interesting, despite all the parody junk going around about it. I mean, hey, if Unity's gonna be parodied, then we know that game's gonna be parodied.
Well, what is it? For like Unity, I don't know too much about that story besides the controversy. But like the Rogue One, they recently put out some trailers for the story, and the Rogue One actually sounds very interesting from a story standpoint. And then
What's the
for people
time
who
period?
like Assassin's Creed, what was that?
What's the time period?
Oh, I'm not sure offhand right now, but
Oh boy, very interesting, isn't it?
yep. But I mean, if you watch the trailers, they're talking about where the person played as an assassin, and then they kind of betrayed him, or to some degree, and then I don't know. He's
Spoiler
hunting
alert.
them now. He's hunting them now, so it's pretty cool.
Well,
So he's an assassin in this game.
Well, yes, and no. But he also has a naval combat, which I don't know if anybody else liked it in Assassin's Creed 4, but like I thoroughly loved the naval combat in the fourth game. And
it's because the fourth game was awesome, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. Like, so they tried that whole "you're a Templar" thing at the beginning of 3, and if you haven't played it at this point, that's the beginning of the game. So I'm not worried about it. But I don't know, and I think they kind of, when people found that out, like when they were playing through it, because you're like this really charming, humorous person all of a sudden, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a Templar, and then you go from that to being Connor, and most people just did not enjoy that after that, and I can kind of understand why. He was very very different, and not nearly as interesting to most. So I don't know. I kind of like, again, I understand them wanting to show both sides of the story because they're trying to create a world here, and I understand that. But at the same time, like I just feel like there's something more interesting in the assassins. And that's probably because that's most of the story we've seen. I'm not saying the Templar side could be interesting, and it could be, I'm going to be curious what they're saying about what the assassins are saying about them, because I think that was talked about, how that it's kind of looking at the Templar side of the story and what they're actually all about and all that kind of stuff. So that could be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't interest me.
He's not hyped, just like Gamer. Far Cry 4 is expected to run. What?
Gamer's away.
Gamer is away. He got so upset about Assassin's Creed. So, Ryder, what do you have about Far Cry 4? Ryder's away.
Far Cry. No, I'm still here. Far Cry 4 is said to be running between. You could run through the game in about 15 to 60 hours, depending on if you want to finish and collect everything or not. And it was also mentioned that while Pagan Min is the main villain, in order to show how large the game is, each region will be broken up between different characters who own them, and could imply mini villains. So the game, so is the game long enough for a Far Cry game to you guys? And does it excite you that each region may be sanctioned by possibly mini bosses? And did anyone play the third game and liked it enough to jump for the fourth game that's coming out next month?
It's scary that game's only a month away. Yes, and yes. I'm definitely been waiting for Far Cry 4 for a long time now. And of course, they have the what is it called? The wingsuit. You get that earlier, and then you also get the grappling hook, which looks awesome, and all the craziness of taking over cars and all that type of stuff, and riding elephants and gyrocopters and co-op. I mean, it looks like a ton of fun from the E3 presentation. I'm glad it's finally about to hit. I do wish it would have been a PS4, Xbox One, PC only title, because that would have been very interesting to see what they would have done with it. But
Yep.
it's Ubisoft. That's what they do.
And it's brought up multiple times with what you said, where a lot of people on the forums and online are kind of wondering if it had gone next gen would have been much bigger, because there's this controversy right now where a lot of people are saying Far Cry 4 is like a Far Cry 3.5, and because it's the same, they kind of said it's the same map size, but just that you'll have a lot more to do. So it's some people are concerned about that.
None of us have played the game, so I can't really comment on that 3.5 thing. So I don't know. Either way, I'm still very excited to play it because I really liked Far Cry 3. I thought it was awesome. As for the 15 to 60 hours, I can kind of see that, because I feel like if you'd have ran through Far Cry 3, you would have got a very similar, similar experience. That 15 hours, probably maybe even less, depending on how good you were and how fast you were. So yeah, I can definitely understand that.
If the amount of content is the same as Far Cry 3, then I don't think it's fair to call it Far Cry 3.5.
Yeah,
I would only say that if it were the size of DLC or something, it were smaller than 3. But if it's the same or even greater than 3, I don't think it's fair to call it 3.5.
Yeah. And they took a lot of time on the map. You can tell. I mean, it's not quite the same as throwing like a Call of Duty map together or something like that, because of, you have to put animals in. You have to figure out where they're gonna go. You have to do the brush, and you have to do all that kind of stuff. And they also have underwater sections, and I think there's a lot more to it, and zip lines and towers and all this other kind of stuff. So I don't think it's quite the same as, they're like, oh, let's make a new map, and then they're like, oh, what else can we do? Because they have to plan all that stuff from the start. I mean, that's like I keep talking about the grappling hook in Hardline compared to Battlefield 2 Special Forces. It could only be used in certain maps in Special Forces. So, those maps had to be specifically designed for that. And I would kind of expect the grappling hook in Far Cry 4 to be kind of that way as well. It's not like, you can just throw this down and be like, oh, and click a button and make it work with the grappling hook. They're probably going to have to do some other things to it as well. So, I'm definitely going to be picking it up probably day one.
It comes out. When does it come out?
I can't remember if that one's the 11th or the 18th of November. Probably the 18th. I think Assassin's Creed Unity comes out.
85 instead.
Well, I'm gonna get it. No problem. I'm planning on picking up day one. I'm a big Far Cry fan. Well, at least since the third one.
Yeah, I actually like the second one as well, but I felt like the auto aim was a little bit much for them, for the people.
I personally didn't like the second one for two aspects, which was the malaria bit got kind of old really fast, and if you, unlike the third game where when you defeat a compound or an army base, like that army base is done, like it's completed, it's yours. And then the second one was, you can defeat an army base all you like, you come back a few minutes later, they're going to be there again.
Yeah,
that was really bad. I really hated that.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that. That was pretty bad. I agree. But what were you saying about what other game, JLC? Were you saying something dead?
Oh no, I was just saying I will get Grand Theft Auto 5 instead.
Oh, instead, gotcha.
Oh yeah, that is coming out the same day.
Yep.
Oh man, goodbye wallet.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's. I'm going to say it again. It's kind of stupid how many games are coming out in the next month period. I mean, you have GTA 5, you have Far Cry 4, and I'm inevitably going to forget something on this list. So if I forget something, it's not because I'm trying to slight that game in any way.
Call of Duty.
And then on the 11th, you've got Assassin's Creed Unity, and you've also got the Halo collection for Xbox fans, and I know a lot of people are going to be excited about that. And then Sunset Overdrive on Xbox on the 28th, and then Lords of the Fallen as well on the 28th. Bayonetta comes out Friday, Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1, I guess, as well, on the Wii U. And Super Smash Bros., Pokemon, and then this week, the stuff that just came out yesterday. So I feel like there's so much stuff here, and there's a couple other things I know I'm forgetting about. It's crazy. I think after that, it'll calm down a little bit. Oh, and WWE 2K15, that'll be something a lot of people look forward to play on the new gen consoles. So, some people are going to be really excited about that, and I know I think Kane Fire is really excited about that one, and I'm sure there's a couple others from our chat group. But yeah, it's just crazy how many games are coming out. I think after the 21st of November, it kind of starts to chill down. And theoretically, the Drive Club demo should come out in this time frame, I guess. Who can say?
Yep. And then probably the next episode we'll have a good old list of November release titles to give you guys.
Oh my gosh, what a list! So a game that will not be coming out in the next month, Project Cars. What do you have for that, Ryder?
Project Cars has been delayed to March. Well, Project Cars has been delayed to March 17th from its original November release for PS4 owners and other owners, in order to avoid the crowded release schedule and allow more development time. Now, was this a wise decision? Is delaying a good thing or a bad thing, seeing as it's been lately? The latter. And wouldn't releasing this year provide PS4 racing fans something better than the currently broken state of Driver Club, the rewarmed Need for Speed game from last year, or the Watch Dogs driving light game, The Crew?
So, Need for Speed, I don't think that's necessarily for people that already had it. If they haven't played it, that'll be great for them. But otherwise, The Crew, I did not like the driving mechanics at all. I thought the handling was awful, and there's a definite group out there that agrees with me. Do a little googling. We're not NDA'd from that, by the way, so I can freely say that the beta, they had some interesting ideas, but I just felt the handling felt a lot like Watch Dogs, and everybody kind of ragged on Watch Dogs about that. It just doesn't feel right for a racing game. Like, if they tightened it up even a little bit, I think they'd be okay. But I feel like you're almost on ice half the time. You barely touch the brakes and turn, and you're almost spinning out. And Drive Club, I'm still waiting to try that game. If I ever get the demo or whatever, I'll throw it up for the stream one week, and we'll have some gameplay for that. But
I think many of us would love to at least try it before we even consider buying it.
Well, and even beyond that, I'm not gonna. They're having trouble even getting people that have paid for the game online right now. I hear that supposedly most people can play, but.
Yep.
I'm not buying the game until I actually see that it's going to function properly online. I just wonder how many people are, taking their copy back or getting a refund or whatnot. But I do think it's smart for them to kind of avoid the battlefield for right now, though. What were you going to say, JLC?
I think many people are probably pissed off, really angry that they can't play yet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like Battlefield all over again.
Yep.
I think it's worse, actually.
That's saying something.
I think it's a little bit worse.
At least with Battlefield, was able to play the multiplayer.
Yeah, you could play the single player too, but sometimes, yes. But I don't I really don't know how they let this one Drive Club fall like it did. Like I just don't. I can't. For the life of me, comprehend how they done that, because just because of what we talked about last time, how they have digital pre-order numbers, they know how many PlayStation Plus members there are. It's just a mess, a total mess, and so I strongly encourage them to figure stuff out very, very quickly. Otherwise, I think they're going to lose. I think they're already kind of losing us. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of, every day that goes by and we don't hear anything, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, all these other games are coming out that I want to play. I mean, I got an Xbox One for Sunset Overdrive. I will be playing that. I'll be playing Halo. Then I'll be playing Assassin's Creed. And then I'll be playing, Smash Brothers and everything else that we just talked about, probably. And I feel like the longer they wait, that the more not the more irrelevant that game's going to be. And that's
Yep.
They got to get this figured out, and they got to do it very, very fast, because I think if they let it slip into November, then it's almost like they're done, because Call of Duty hits that very first week, and
Yep.
say what you will about it, that's going to be a big seller, and that's going to take a lot of people's time.
And that's why I was kind of just a little bit upset, probably more than you guys, when found out that Project Cars was being delayed. I mean, if anyone's seen those trailers, they kind of almost rival the look and feel of Drive Club. Like, at least aesthetically, it's a very, very good looking game, and especially since if you knew what Project Cars was, like there is a lot of people that had their hands on that game, and
Yeah.
it looks
But
as
when is
good
the
as it
date?
does for reasons.
What were you
When is
saying?
it come out? When is it gonna come out now?
March
Well,
17th.
it originally had a November release date, but now it's going to be coming out March 17th.
Yeah, I think you can still, like, I think the PC version is still out there. Like, I think you can still preview the game that way. But yeah, they won't officially launch until the March 17th then. But
Wow, that's a big delay.
yeah, and I hope they're spending their time. Maybe they learned from Evolution and they're like, guys, we do not want to make that mistake. I don't know
You
personally.
only got one server.
Yeah, that might be what it is. But they're like, maybe we need to get 2 servers, guys. But yeah, the and that might be something that they're looking at. I have no idea on that end, but definitely a game to watch out for. And I can kind of understand them delaying it, just because it is kind of a new IP, and I feel like it's lesser known to the general public. Like, I know there's a bunch of racing enthusiasts that are excited about that game, but I don't know that outside of them there are going to be as many, because I think it's more focused on sim. So I can definitely sort of understand them getting out of this crowded release window and kind of pushing it back, and just working on some things, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think they could have moved it maybe a few weeks past, but
Well,
March is too far
if-
away, to be honest.
Well, see, though, if you miss Black Friday, then you're better off not releasing. You're almost better off not releasing before Christmas, honestly.
Christmas.
I know but I think more and more people are trying to get their shopping done early. I think, at least I would theorize. And Black Friday's
what
a
I do.
big day. Yeah. Well, I just shop online and don't bother, use Amazon Prime and go that route. So, the surprise topic for the night. We got to remember about another game movie. What do you have for that, Ryder?
Yes, according to a Deadline report, Night of the Museum director Sean Levy is in talks with Warner Brothers to develop a film based on the Mahjong game Minecraft. Could this be what Microsoft saw in regards to Minecraft, besides their already announced Windows Phone version of Minecraft? Could a movie been in production for a while and Microsoft took the chance to be part of that pie? And what would the movie even be about? Would it be live action or CG like the Lego movie? I mean, is Minecraft that big enough to be a movie?
Yeah.
It's big, all right.
ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's big. The thing is that it depends what the movie is about, though. That's what's going to interest a lot of people, because people are going to go because of the name Minecraft. It's going to have a fan base, but it depends on what the content of the movie is. Who is it directed to? If it's directed to children, to teens, that's going to define whether that movie becomes popular or not.
I mean, the same thing could be said about the Lego movie. Like, how do you make a movie out of Legos? And then they did it. Like, I watched it. I thought it was okay. So.
I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yep.
But and that's what I was saying. You gotta, to get that audience. I mean, you really have to. It takes a certain type of magic, and it is very difficult to reproduce something like a Lego movie. Because I thought, my wife and I went to see it. We don't have any kids or anything. We just went to see it because it just sounded like something that would be hilarious to see, and it. We definitely got our laughs out of it, and Everything is Awesome was stuck in her head for a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
And that song. But I could sing this song for hours, 6 hours later, and they're still singing it. But, it just... It really just depends on, like you said, kind of what they do with it. Because I definitely think there's potential there, but you have to really kind of get that word of mouth going. Like I think that's what kind of drove the Lego Movie after the initial release. You got that wave that goes see it, go see all the new movies, and then I think word of mouth kind of helped drive that along, and then positive reviews and stuff like that. So I think that's what they kind of have to do is they kind of have to be able to hit that universal audience if they want to, because I don't see it as being pushed to some, to you like a young adult or adult movie. Like I don't see that happening. It's not going to be, PG-13 rated R or something like that. That would be more like
action movie.
Yeah.
Action movie Minecraft.
Yeah, that would be very strange. I expect it to be a family/children's movie.
Maybe it becomes the next big thing. Big action movie that everybody had to see.
That would be very odd. But you could just have people's heads explode as blocks would. So I guess that would work. So, Gamer, you added some community topics here. What is the first one you have there?
Yes, it's why is it bad to be a fanboy?
So Everyone Gamer is a fanboy, and he's going to tell us why it's bad for him to be that way.
Yep, because I only see one way, which is PlayStation.
Oh. He's not hyped for anything else. We need to get you to start saying hyped or not hyped again, so that Joe can keep going.
Once again, I'll bring it back.
I thought you were playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I've been playing Smash Brothers. Hey, no one knows that.
Nobody's allowed to know that. He's a PlayStation fanboy. Nobody's allowed to know that.
You know too much now.
He will kill you through the internet. But yeah, I like the whole thing about fanboy. Like, I mean, being a fan of something is one thing, and I think we're all pretty much PlayStation fans. But we all call things as we see them. We're not going to be blindly worship PlayStation and say, oh, well, Drive Club. I mean, that's not their fault. That's Microsoft's fault because something. I mean, there's no point in doing that. There's no point in trying to be the Sony Defense Force or whatever you want to call them. We enjoy PlayStation. And I personally I play everything. I play Xbox. I play PC. I play PS3, PS4, Vita, Wii U, 3DS. I don't care as long as it's a good game. I'm there. And once again, Console Wars, the name of the game is the game. So, and I think some people, like, when they get in that fanboy mindset, they get to a more limited good mindset. Like, if something good is going on over in Microsoft land or Nintendo land, that automatically means that it's bad for us. Because if they're having a good time, that means we can't have a good time. And that's kind of dumb to me. Because, I mean, who cares? If you're not into another system or you don't have it or something, that's fine. You're just not going to be able to, have whatever experience they're having. And I mean, getting upset or jealous or whatever about that's kind of pointless. And besides, that doesn't diminish anything you're doing on your system. I know GLC agrees with me on that because he said so in take one.
Yeah. But basically, fanboys, if you're a fanboy, then you're just looking at things one way, like our gamer said, that you think your product is what is the best or what is right or what should be the norm, which isn't true. You understand? There are other options out there. People like other options. People like some people like blue, some people like red. Some people like Xbox, some people like PS3, PS4.
I'm sorry,
like
the only
PC,
correct answer there is blue. I'm sorry.
No, I would say I agree with you, but I'm not a fanboy, and I'll say I like green as well. But pretty much, there are or so.
You're cutting out a lot.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, You said pretty much,
about
and
now?
then I just heard a silence. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Everybody has different wants, different desires. They like different things, you know. Just because somebody likes something different from yours doesn't make them wrong. Doesn't mean that, you know, that their idea is stupid or whatever they like shouldn't be liked. You know, that's up to them. You know, I've seen that a lot in PS4, so Xbox sucks. Like, no, it doesn't mean that. You understand? Just because you like PS4 doesn't mean that Xbox One sucks. You understand? People should learn that other people have different likes. You're not necessarily wrong. You're not necessarily right either. You know, there are, you know, there's no right answer for things like that. You shouldn't be the person that's defending a company either. You know, I've seen that a lot of people defending Sony. You know, leave Sony to defend themselves. Leave Microsoft to defend themselves. You know, though, sure, you could be a fan. You could say, yeah, I like their products because of X reason. Doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you shouldn't take that as liking something as something that you have to defend. But it really bothers me, you know, because there's a lot of people who are fans of products, and it's good that you're a fan of product, but when you become a fanboy, you start ignoring all the evidence to the opposite of you, or you start ignoring the evidence that other products are also good, and that shouldn't be it. That shouldn't happen. I think you mentioned in the first podcast that some of them may be called trolls, and it's true. You know, there's people that are trolls, you know, and do that on purpose. You understand? You know, you show them all the evidence to the contrary of what they're saying, and they still say what, that it's a lie or it's not true or that they're right. While fanboys may be similar.
Yeah, they'll ignore your post entirely.
Yeah, they'll just ignore your post entirely and say, you know what, I'll skip to somebody else and argue with somebody else because this person has some evidence, and that should really dirties up the community in a sense. You know, it makes it toxic, and that shouldn't be. You should be able to talk with any community member. You know, be it PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo. You know, be like blue or red, doesn't matter. You should be able to talk to anybody without being, you know, ridiculed. You could be criticized, but not ridiculed because of the choice of product that you use.
True.
Because it just becomes annoying.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
And it's like Mike, he owns like an Xbox One and multiple other platforms, and like me, I own, prior to owning a PS3, I had an Xbox 360 for like 7-8 years, and so like I've seen both sides of the field, and so like being a fanboy, when you're defending way too hard on a particular product that you really really like, and like what Mike said, where there's certain features and games that they might have, and you shouldn't just get jealous. Like, I just enjoy what you got, and like if you want to choose other platforms, you can. That choice is yours.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with wanting the same features, like you said. If you know if they can't deliver, you're the customer. You could move on to another platform. You know, you shouldn't automatically just criticize, you know, or feel that you're stuck in a certain platform or with a certain product. No, you're the customer. You could demand, you know, from Sony. You could demand from Microsoft. You could demand from whoever, you know, creates these products, because you're the consumer. You're the customer. You're the person that should want these features. You know, go ahead and ask. You know, don't just automatically say, oh well, if X product has it, well then that means it's stupid. No, just because you want it doesn't mean that it's stupid. You know, and you're not gonna get it doesn't mean stupid. Go ahead and ask or move to that product. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, don't feel like, you know, that you need to justify your purchase. No, you don't have to justify.
You don't have to justify your purchase to anyone. I mean, as long as you're enjoying it, that's what matters.
Yep.
Exactly, and
so true.
And if it gets to a certain point that you're not, then there's nothing wrong with moving to another product. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to stay and say, oh, well, I have to justify for the rest of my life that I'm a PlayStation gamer. Well, everything else sucks and you're suffering. No, you know, you don't have to hate on other people just because they're having a good time.
Yeah, and you know, that's a two-way street. There'll be other people that'll come in and say, well, you know, PlayStation doesn't do this or that or whatever, so it sucks and all that other stuff. And I mean, you know, I think the whole thing's kind of dumb. I do find it interesting. I had to call somebody out in our group chat about this because they just kept saying some stuff, and I was like, dude, what are you even talking about? Are you reading what you're typing? Not quite that literally, but I mean, that's what I wanted to say to the guy, because some of the stuff he was saying, it's like, I'm reading it, I'm like, how is that, how is that working? How are you thinking this and going to this? I don't even remember what it was about at this particular point in time, but it's just like you really, I think people that are, have an opinion and then back that opinion up with a quote unquote fact that really doesn't apply to the opinion, that's where I kind of wonder about them. I wonder what's going on, if they're trying to defend something or what exactly they're trying to do. But if you want to debate about it and you enjoy talking about it, go for it. As long as you're not crossing into the boundaries of being that fanboy. I say go for it. I like to look at the systems. In fact, I'm thinking I'm going to do a video about looking specifically at the philosophies, not even the games, but just the philosophies when it comes to Microsoft and Sony and all that. Because I mean, personally, I did not expect to be a big user of the media features, but so far, I've even got my my TV hooked up to my Xbox One, my my cable. So I mean, and I have it so that when I say the command to make the machine come on, then it'll actually turn on the projector, the receiver, and all this other stuff. I mean, it's something that I personally probably wouldn't have bought a system for, but now that I have it, it's cool. But I'm not necessarily mad that PS4 doesn't have that, because they chose a different route.
Yep. And it also brings up the one topic where.
Go ahead.
Well, you can go ahead, Chelsea.
Oh, I just want to say that he brought up a good point about if you want to argue, you want to discuss a topic, which about platforms, about games. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem, you become a fanboy. The problem comes when you become a fanboy and you start ridiculing or not criticizing, but really ridiculing or belittling the arguments of somebody else. Just because they may disagree with you doesn't mean they're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're dumb or they're stupid or they have to be a fanboy. No, that's the point of discussing, of arguing, of of having these type of discussions. Discussions about the point of having a discussion, like any forum or any website, is to see both sides of the argument. If you're not allowing only yours is correct and start criticizing, ridiculing the other person, then what's the point of arguing? What's the point of discussing? What's the point of talking? The forums, the website, anything, it becomes toxic because you're the person who's dirtying up the discussion. It can't be a discussion if you're just ignoring everything the other person is saying and just ridiculing them. And that happens a lot. I've noticed that happen a lot on the forums. I've been seeing that on multiple different websites. Somebody says something, oh well, everybody jumps on that person, but not to respond to their argument, but just to criticize, and that's just wrong. They respond with animated GIFs. They respond with videos. But they never touch the point that person brought up. They never respond to the argument. They never respond to the question. They never respond to the point that person has. Instead, they just criticize and ridicule, and that's just plain wrong. What you're doing is you're alienating the people who actually want to discuss, the people who actually want to be productive members. You're alienating them. So now the forums or the website becomes filled with people full of fanboys, because all the people who are actually wanted to discuss a topic actually had valid points got chased out. People were mocking them. People were talking bad about them. Just ridiculing them, and that doesn't help out the community at all. It doesn't help out the argument. There cannot be a civil discussion when that's going on, and people are gonna leave, and people are gonna are gonna leave obviously angry because their points were ignored, but not only ignored, they were personally attacked, and that shouldn't be happening either.
Yeah, and Ryder, before you move on, and obviously there's the trolls. You kind of have to ignore those. They don't care what you're gonna say if they're gonna and that's what they'll do. They'll get on the internet and they'll just troll it. I mean, I can kind of understand it sometimes because I like to be sarcastic, and I kind of troll people in real life sometimes, not to the extent that some people go on the forums and stuff, but I can understand that. I'll do sarcastic stuff all the time, so I can totally understand that. But the other thing I was gonna say is that well, I had another point, but oh well. I'm gonna let Ryder move on to what he had. I'm blanking on what the other thing was.
You'll remember.
Well, it was kind of pretty much what the JLC said, where, well, just to say on the other side of the coin, like there's a lot of people who, let's say for this new update that's coming, there's a lot of that stuff that's not even interesting to some people because they bought the console to play games, and then when they're, let's just say the forums or internet sells, when people even just say that and say, well, I'm not really interested in that stuff, I just wanted to, it to focus on gaming features. The other side of people just, I don't know, kind of belittle that group to the point where it's like who's the fanboy on that side of each side. And it's kind of what you say, where some people just like to troll and they're just doing it just to upset people, and then there'll be the other side where there's certain fanboys who just, I don't know, they want a certain way, or they just want to argue to a point where I don't know, it's one-sided. So I don't know, it's like the JLC said, it's good to have discussions and it's good to debate. Just try not to go too one-sided. You got to look on both sides of the coin.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
and
Just
go ahead.
I want to add to that there's a lot of topics like on the forums and stuff. Like, I'll bring up one that everybody's gonna talk about. Change name feature. Be able to change your name. A lot of people, sometimes are new. They come to the forums and they bring good points. Oh, we should be able to change our names because Microsoft has it, Steam has it, X website has it. You could charge. They bring in good points. You understand? And some people may not realize. Obviously, trolls are gonna jump in. They're gonna try to get people angry. But sometimes people who are not trolls, but are fanboys, and they don't realize it, jump on the wagon and start on people too. On this
Yep.
person who might be completely new to the forums, and they start criticizing him instead of instead of responding to their points. Instead of saying, "Oh, well, it's hard," or Sony has said this, instead they say, "No, it's not gonna come." Like if they're ambassadors or they're speakers Sony, or they represent Sony when they don't represent Sony, they don't represent any company at all, but they talk like they have these the authority to speak on behalf of Sony, on behalf of Microsoft, and what they do instead of responding to or suggesting improvements or suggesting what's wrong with his argument, instead they try to shut him down. Get out of forms. Somebody asked this 100 times. Why didn't you use the search feature? You're an idiot.
Because the search feature is probably not that great.
It's not.
I'm only laughing because I see that a lot.
and that's just because the person might have come to be very active and very good person for the community, but what happened? Everybody jumped on them. Not only the trolls, fanboys jumped on them too, and some of them didn't realize that they were being fanboys by jumping on this poor person and saying, you're wrong. You're wrong. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're
your
wrong, you
point
should
still
get out, right?
attacking. Well, to a certain
I'm just joking.
to a certain
But
to a certain extent, it depends on the argument. If you're attacking the argument, obviously, but if you're just attacking the person, then it's just toxic. It doesn't help at all.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's one thing that Sony really needs to work on is that whole change name thing. I think what they should do is just simply add an alias field and let you allow that to be displayed instead of your actual username. I mean, that's what Steam does. People will say you can change your username on Steam. No, you actually can't. You can just change what it displays, and that would work. That would actually probably be better because then. I would say that then it would be much harder to guess your username. Because, I mean, they could probably take from your username and extrapolate what your email address might be. So, that would actually probably be more secure if they added an alias field. But we'll see.
there could be an infinite amount of things they could do. To be honest, they could, could even bring that just the changing feature, but put limits on the amount of time you could do it. Maybe per year, or maybe charge. There's an infinite amount of
Well, yeah, and
ways they could implement.
well, yeah, but what they've always said is that it's very, very complicated to actually allow that, just simply
Yeah.
because of the way they set everything up. They did not set it up with the intention of allowing that. So that's
And
that's what they're saying.
yeah, and that's understandable, but I'm just saying that there's an infinite amount of points that or ideas that people could bring. The problem that becomes though is when that is used. The Sony said that it's gonna be hard to do it. They use that to just shut the person down and say, no, you're automatically wrong, and whatever
Yeah.
ideas you bring up are wrong, and that
Yeah.
shouldn't be the case. Because Sony said it doesn't mean that you should stop trying, as a customer trying to get change, trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
get something.
Yeah,
an-
but
an
that's
idea,
why I'm
or
saying that's why I'm
improve.
saying there should be an alias field instead, because then they don't have to bother
Yeah.
with all that stuff that they're talking about. But we'll see
Exactly.
on that issue. One
Exactly.
other thing, though, before we move on to the other community topic, what kind of irritates me though sometimes is when people do come along and they say, "Oh, well, I'm not interested in that," because I'll see people they're talking about like,
Yeah, I was just saying this a little while ago.
yeah, people are saying that they're like, they're talking about what exclusives does it have? I'm not interested in any of those. And it's like, yeah, you're not, but the people that are replying to you obviously are.
Yep.
So, it's just your own taste in games. I mean, if there's really honestly not a game there that you are actually interested in, and interested is to me is a complicated question because what is the game that actually makes you buy the system versus stuff that you pick up like Halo? I'm not overly into Halo, but since I have an Xbox One, I'll be picking up Halo. But it's not something that would make me buy the system like it would for other people. So I kind of wonder if that's what they're going for, and they're just not seeing any game that really makes them want to buy the system. Because I just wonder if you're a gamer when you have such a diverse list sometimes, and they're like, oh, well, I'm not interested in those. I'm like, what are you looking for then? Because they kind of run the gambit, but yeah. So what is your other topic here, gamer?
That Sony never treated and advertised the Vita as a portable system.
Oh man, I can take a different spin on this one this time around.
Go for it.
Go ahead. Go.
What is it? I originally I had the Vita, and I'm saying that in the past tense right now. I kind of jumped to the DLC. Well, I just jumped to the DLC side just now, well today, and I was using it for remote play, and then as I was just looking at it after a while and contemplating, I'm like, am I really playing any games on this thing anymore? And like, the only game I'm even remotely interested in was Freedom Wars, and so I was like, maybe I can just sell this for now, and then later down the road, if they decide to finally treat this as a handheld instead of an accessory, maybe I'll get it again down the road. So, I mean, at the time, Best Buy still doesn't have any of the the Borderlands 2 Vita bundles yet, and I could of course order it online, or I can that gamer or Mike, where I could maybe possibly pick up PlayStation TV, but then even then I'm even contemplating like why would I even still be bothering with that if it's still
Remote
not
play.
really, yeah, I still wouldn't even really play it. So I don't know, like even now right now I have a PS3, a PS2, a PS4, and a PS1, but I don't have a Vita anymore. And I have a PSP still, but like the topic is like, I just feel as if Sony didn't really treat the Vita as an actual handheld. It felt, even as a consumer myself who actually owned it, like I primarily used it for remote play. So
Yeah, well, like I was kind of talking about, our first take on this is I really feel like the reliance on the online stuff really kind of shafted them in the long run because, they only had a 3G plan. The 3G plan was awful. It's like $10 a month for 250 megabytes. And and it wasn't worth getting because it was 3G anyway. And then, the carrier was not one that most people would choose if they had a choice. At least around here anyway. But, it's, I don't know. I really feel like their reliance on the online stuff and how they kind of push that. I think that was a bad decision. Personally, I think we'll be switching up the cell phone plan here a little bit. And I think at that point, I'll have tethering. And I could actually look at, tethering the PS Vita to my phone some and, actually maybe use it a little bit. But beyond that, I mean, it's really kind of a hard system to use on the go because of how many online-centric things there are.
Yep.
So, I'd love to play Killzone, but at the same time, there's, I'm not going to be able to play that on the go at the moment. Even if I had a 3G version, I would not want to play that game over 3G at all. So I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with, pushing the online features like they did. I understand why they did it, because they want it connected to the PlayStation ecosystem, rather. But I think it's a detriment in some cases. And I also think that there's not as many games that really placate to that, 5, 10, 15-minute thing style, rather, of gameplay.
Yeah, I just shot themselves in the foot when they came up with a system that you need to buy memory cards for. A lot of people probably bought the system and it didn't come with memory. Had to
You're breaking up pretty bad, actually.
Oh.
But you were saying that they ended up bringing out the system and that they didn't really, they released memory cards and they didn't give one to everyone and all this other stuff.
Yeah, not only that if they were made this a handheld, I don't know who they were aiming this for. Were they aiming for the gamer or for the average consumer? And I think that hurt them, because when if they were aiming for the average consumer, they didn't really explain about memory cards. So a lot of people bought these games, this console without good memory cards. And then what happened is, as the games progressed, you needed bigger memory cards, or the games became bigger in size. You needed to upgrade, and a lot of people probably got it because of that. Not only that, the games themselves that started coming out they're pretty nice, but they became less frequent. Even though the game was really new, the system was really new, they started dropping, in the amount of frequency, and I think that hurt us as well. First, though, people had to buy memory cards, and they had, in order to play their game, in order to make it fit in their Vita, which is a good system, but memory cards really brought it down. And then the game started dropping in frequency, and when the game started dropping in frequency, even the updates started dropping in frequency too, because what we got only were like calendar app,
Yeah.
We got Netflix, we didn't get that many apps either on the Vita, it's not a handheld. Like, your cell phone has more features than the Vita has, even though the Vita is powerful, but and it's good handheld. It's like in the middle of a handheld and the middle of something to add on, and add on to your PS4. It's like in the middle, because it doesn't have either or. It can't play every PS4 game. You can't, effectively, some games do it good, with remote play. Some games did it, like Infamous, I heard. There's some other games that do it well. Other games don't do it well. Battlefield 4, for example, lags a lot, in a remote play. Well, which is, something you don't understand. But it's like between being an add-on to your PS4 and a handheld console. It's in the middle, because it doesn't have that many games, and the game started dropping, the features for it started dropping, and then the only thing that's been new has been remote feature for the PS4. It really hasn't gotten any juice out of it. It really hasn't gotten any. It never really took off. What I'm trying to say, it never really got anything for it to be able to take off.
Yeah. And the and I, like I say, I think there's I think going with a non universal memory card was also a bit of a problem. Like they should have really looked at trying to do a more like an SD card or something like that. Because I think that proprietary memory card and them being so expensive for so long really hurt them as well. Because I mean, it's like why would I buy this when I can buy a 3DS, have more games, and and some would argue, of course, better games, and then the Nintendo brand, and it works with an SD card. It just seems like a no-brainer when you really look at it that way. So it's kind of unfortunate they went the route they did in some ways, but it's a cool system, and I like some of the ideas they have for it. I really like that the touchscreen was really accurate, but they just made some critical mistakes that they're really gonna have to look at it when they sit down to design their next portable if they enter that market again.
Yeah.
But unless you guys have something else, I think we're done here.
Are we?
Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I'm good.
All right. Well, we ended up eliminating topics, but we went longer anyway. But thanks for tuning in, guys. This is PlayStation MVP Cast episode 23. And we will hopefully be back to our normal spot on Monday night, and everything will go smoothly at that point. But have a good one, guys.
All right. See you guys on.
Bye.